Any questions?
Yes, with no disrespect intended, Dr. Malachi Z. York, I would like to ask some questions. Can you please explain this two Master Farad Muhammads, one being an Arab and one being a Caucasian, and his apology from 1990 from the Ansar Law community? And what's with Minister Khalid and his comments? Please, I just want you to explain it.
That's a very, very interesting subject. I hate to touch on it because there's been so much controversialness about it, especially in cases of me. It's all right when everybody else talks about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or everybody else talks about Master Farad Muhammad. I mean, when Siraj Wahaj, who was known as Jeffrey X, broke off and spent lecture after lecture and traveled around the Arab world talking about the Nation of Islam, and Ms. Louis Farrakhan, nothing was done to him. I mean, nothing was said about him. I mean, the brother Bilal Phillips, before he even started talking about or writing a book about me, was spending a lot of time talking about the Nation of Islam and trying to tear them down and writing books about them. Nothing was said about him. The Nation of the 5% for the gods of earth now, a brother from inside there called Clarence 13X breaks away from them. You listen to this? He breaks away, takes over the position of God, calls himself Allah, Puddin, organizes a whole little group of young Puerto Ricans up in the Bronx, start a whole new thing called the 5%, taking out the lessons of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I mean, his followers are running around right now on the internet, and they're brothers and they're relating to them, they're relating and building together. But me is a personal thing always with me. I'll tell you why. It goes back a long way. I intimidate people because I deal with facts. That bothers me. But you people want facts, don't you? What else is there but some facts and truth? I may not be like what I do, but I got to teach the truth, don't I? What else am I here for? But all these other people, they want to presuppose the truth and play games, gather lots of people that look good, put on costumes and look good. But what about what they have to say about your soul and the plans of the devil and what he planned to do with you? They ain't talking about that, are they? Constantly they repeat to you, white man did this, white man did that. We got more black devils than there are white devils circulating around this right now. I mean black devils. I mean, I don't mean no spook beside behind the door. I mean brothers with afros infiltrating organizations and working with you, smiling in your face, praying with you, and they are the devil. I'm not just talking about infiltrators working on FBI and OCI. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the nigga who walks around causing problems. He don't know nothing. All he's trying to figure out a way to make some money off some people. He ain't out to sacrifice his life. I call myself a lamb. Why? Because I, for years, was hated. I went up against everybody. I didn't always speak out. I was just one of the brothers there teaching and trying to raise a Nubian nation. But then they made a major mistake of touching on my personal life. And that's when I started coming out. And now that I've come out, I'm hated by everybody. It's not going to stop me. That's why you call yourself a lamb, because you know you're a sacrificial man. You take that chance. I'm not going out there and talk about this. Because all the life women said, don't mess around, talk about this government and what you go, because you ain't going to do nothing to America. Stop dreaming. You ain't got nothing you can do to the powers that be. But you can do something for yourself, and that's what he did. Said, do something for yourself. So that's a very touchy subject. And I can get more detail into it. I'm saying if you really want me to, y'all want to hear more about the Quran story? Because what happens is, last time when I tried my best to be a nice guy and break away in 1990 and write an apology, I got slapped in the face for it. Verbally, I got called names. He don't know what he's talking about. He's confused. One minute he's Turkish, next minute he's Syrian, next minute... Hey, I was with Sheikh Dawood Ahmed Faisal since I was 12 years old. Brother Omar took me in the State Street, and Sheikh Dawood gave me a card, and he signed it, and I still have it. And that was 1957, when most of these niggas either wasn't born or didn't even know what Islam was. They still was in the Christian church worshiping a white Jesus. Some fool gonna say in 1965, I took my shahada in State Street. Sheikh Dawood gave me my name. Isa Abdullah Ibn Mubakar Muhammad. He gave me that name. That was one of his relatives' names. His father's name was Talib Abu Bakr. People don't know what they're talking about. That was way back in June 21st, 1957. Go back and get the records from 143 State Street. They're still there. And you'll see my signature. You'll see Sheikh Sign. I was a kid, but he signed me in because a brother walked me in there. I sat right there. And then, do you know who Sheikh Dawood was? Do you know his relationship to Farad and Fard, the real one and the imposter? Do you know that he was the man who owned the Crusader? He was writing the greatest books in the latter part of his life. He died in 1980. He was writing a book through the 70s. He kept telling me, here's the manuscript, because I want to put this book out. Anybody who was around States didn't know. He was upstairs cutting the book, and I was the one upstairs. Me and Rajar Sharif, Salahuddin, Amin, Abdul Wali, all these brothers who still stand for what was right. They listened to him. And he said, I know about the Quran. I know him personally. It wasn't interesting to me. I was not interested in hearing about that. In 1968, 69, and 70. I didn't care about it. I was busy worrying about building my own nation. However, he eventually gave me a certificate and made me his successor, a certificate I have with his signature on it today, which I was not interested in being a part of the Islamic Mission of America because it housed a whole bunch of Pakistani demons and a whole bunch of confused Negroes who don't know what they want to be. So we broke off and we formed what we refer to as the Nubian Islamic Hebrews. Enough Hebrew to keep the Muslims away and enough Islam to keep the Hebrews away so we could do our own thing. Because we have a right to do our own thing, to be ourselves, to have our own stuff, as I say. So let me take you another step there, then you want to get into it. My apology was met with stupidity. Dr. Khalid and a bunch of other ones started talking about me, calling me a fool. They flashed this thing around, and they took my kindness for weakness. I'm going to take them another step. You know, there's actually 3 of them now, in view of the fact that Wafdi Muhammad has introduced a new one. There's a 3rd guy they got coming out of Fuji. They call him Professor Abdullah Muhammad, who died in 1992. I told you about him. He's a new one. There's a 3rd one now. Now, what are you going to say? Wafdi Muhammad was raised there. He was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son. And his son, Wali, who runs the radio station, and Wafdi Muhammad's best friend, who's called John Ramadan. These people got their own mission out there, and they're putting information out about a new Farad who just died in California in 1992. You don't know nothing about that. You don't want to hear the truth. You want to live a lie. Remind me, like I said before, the old story of the Last Temptation movie where Paul comes across the real Messiah and don't want to accept what he had to say. And I got my own Messiah. And Paul went out and started a whole new religion. It wasn't called Christianity, called the Nicene Council. And them didn't mean in the 5th century. And Antioch didn't take place until 300 years after Jesus was gone. They were still called Nazarenes. Let me take you to another level on this if you really want to go. You know, there was a guy. This is the real one, by the way. And his name was Fawad Abdul Ali Muhammad. They spell that F-U-A-D. You got that? All right. Now check this. That's the name he was given at birth. Later on, he had to take on a new name. His name was Abdul Wali Farad Muhammad Ali. This is because he was involved in a whole bunch of illegal things. His birth date was 1891. That's right, 1891. Where was this man born? He was born in Palestine. What was his original nationality? He was Turkish by nationality. What was his religion? His religion was Islam. He was affiliated with the Moorish Science Temple, Pan-Arabism, the Ahmadiyya, and the Ikhwani Muslimin, the Muslim Brotherhood, and any other type of revolutionary group. He was basically anti-America. He was against America giving Israel the right to exist. His mother was Russian. Her name was Salima Huffan, or Huffan. And her religion was Islam. His father was Syrian. His name was Abdul Ali Qudri al-Ba'id. This is the real one now. Fawad Abdul Ali Muhammad. He spelled it M-O-H-A-M-M-E-D, not with a U. All right? This guy left Palestine and relocated into Saudi Arabia. There he went to school. He studied there. He studied in Medina in Saudi Arabia. He didn't pop up in the United States until he came up in New Jersey and start bothering the Moorish Science Temple, called the Canaanite Temple at the time, and that was in 1914. He was 23. He got arrested in 1929 for anti-American involvement. The King Saud family of Saudi Arabia, which Fahd was one of his sons. Don't mix Fahd and Fard, which is F-A-H-D, Fahd, who still lives today, who's running Saudi Arabia here in 1996, right? They funded this original one to come here. After funding his education in Medina, Saudi Arabia, the Islamic University. This man was very intelligent. He spoke 16 different languages, they say. I don't know how true it was. I wasn't there. Sheikh Daoud said he spoke fluent Arabic, French, Hebrew, and quite a few other languages. He knew him personally. All right, now, y'all with me? You want me to keep going? Because it is deep. And it's that's what people don't want to hear. All right, now look, he first appears in 1914. He's around age 23 years in Newark, New Jersey. He starts to go to the Moorish Science Temple, and he's causing a lot of problems. He messes around with them. He's actually on the picture, like I said before, in the upper left-hand corner. You can see a picture of him when he was visiting Chicago at that temple. Now, he stays around here until about 1917. I guess he's around 26 then. All right? Then he leaves there because Noble Ali wasn't going to tolerate him messing with his followers with this Arabic, something that they didn't have the knowledge of at the time. So he leaves there. Where does he go? He goes to Chicago. He arrived in Chicago around 1919. I guess he's around 28 years old at the time. Okay, y'all with this? Okay, this is stuff that Sheikh Daoud had written in this book. His manuscript that he passed on to me. Sheikh Daoud was financed and funded by King Faisal, another Saud family, to eliminate that story and that gossip that was taking place because Saudi Arabia was friends with America, and this guy who was a terrorist roaming around, his vision with this.